In this video, we will tell you the entire history about the life and career of Diane Lane, while we show you some of her rare and attractive photos. Diane Lane was born on the 22nd of January 1965 in New York City. Her mother, Colleen Lee Farrington, worked as a full-time model for Playboy, but she spent most of her nights in the club singing, and that's probably how Diane fell in love with the entertainment industry. 6 days after her birth, Lane's parents started fighting for a divorce, until it was agreed for Diane to be placed under her mother's custody after their separation. The young actress continued with her mother until she didn't want her anymore. Then Diane returned to her father when her mother abandoned her for a trip to Georgia. Her first real contact with the acting world happened in 1971 in a theatrical production of the Greek play Medea. She was only 6 years old at the time. Then Diane had another small role in Joseph Papp's production of The Cherry Orchard. She was cast alongside famed actresses Meryl Streep and Irene Worth. However, as a child actor, Diane was going to be even more popular for the roles she turned down than the ones she accepted. She was only 13 years old at the time she made headlines after rejecting her first big opportunity to make a feature film debut opposite Laurence Olivier in A Little Romance. Olivier found this very interesting, and from then onwards, he declared that little Diana Lane was the new Grace Kelly. Diane recovered quickly, and after this, she was featured in a lot of magazine publications, which announced her as one of Hollywood's whiz kids. While the young actress flourished on the stage and behind the camera, her life in the classroom suffered terribly. Diane just hated school because it took her away from acting. But before she could finally find that balance, something very strange happened. After reuniting with her father because her mother abandoned her, Diane's mother would still come back to secretly kidnap her. This caused serious legal confrontations among her parents, and after her mother released her, she would not talk to her for the next 3 years. In all these, Diane confessed to just one regret in her childhood, and that was declaring independence from her father at the age of 15 and flying to Los Angeles to star in the 1981 movie Child Bride of Short Creek. It was reckless behavior that comes from having too much independence too young, the actress said. Diane finally dropped out of school after a few months of college, and now she was desperate for a breakthrough role. She found little luck in movies like Touched by Love, Cattle Annie and Little Britches, Six Pack, and 1982's Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. These were all important roles that brought the actress a measure of recognition and influence, but Diane always wanted much more. Her breakout performance is largely considered to have come with the back-to-back adaptations of novels by S.E. Hilton, The Outsiders and Bumblefish. Both movies featured notable performances from a few actors who would become leading men in the next decades, as well as some of the Brat Pack members, including Tom Cruise, Rob Lowe, Nicolas Cage, Matt Dillon, and many others. Diane, after these features, was nicknamed the undisputed female lead of Hollywood's new Rat Pack. With all of this came overwhelming fame and influence, and as much as Diane enjoyed it, it marked the beginning of her unbecoming. She had many contracts on her table now, so it was easy to turn down many projects, just so she could give her everything to Streets of Fire and The Cotton Club. But unfortunately, they were both commercial and critical failures. And this forced Diana into an unplanned hiatus. Her excuse was that she hadn't been with her mother for a while, and so this was the perfect time for her to mend the bond. But fans wouldn't be deceived. A few of them were already staring down her career with pity, and even when Diane was finally ready for a comeback, it was still not going to be as successful as she had planned. The actress was seen in The Big Town and Lady Beware, but these fell short of expectations. They struggled to hit the impression she wanted, but the answers to her prayers came with her feature in the 1989 TV miniseries Lonesome Dove. For her performance in this movie, Diane got her first Emmy Award nomination. Not many people know this, but around this time, Diane came very close to being cast as Vivian Ward in the 1990s blockbuster hit Pretty Woman. She was unable to take the role because of scheduling difficulties, and the role went on to American actress Julia Roberts, who established her as one of the leading actresses in the industry. Diane had to fight for 7 more years before she was seen in another successful feature in the 1999 Walk on the Moon. The movie also had stars like Liev Schreiber, Viggo Mortensen, and Anna Paquin on the cast list. Movie director Tony Goldwyn described Diane Lane as having this potentially volcanic sexuality that is in no way self-conscious or opportunistic. Diane earned an Independent Spirit Award nomination for Best Female Lead for her performance in Walk on the Moon. Took another 3 years, and Diane's career breakthrough came with the 2002 erotic thriller Unfaithful. The movie was a box office game-changer, and it catapulted Diane and her co-stars to international stardom. She was finally where she wanted to be, but this didn't satisfy her as much as she had thought. And for this, Diane Lane blamed movie executives and directors of Unfaithful. Unfaithful featured many sex scenes, and according to Inside Stories, Diane Lane always needed multiple takes on scenes like this before she got what the script demanded. This frustrated her, the directors, and her co-stars. In one of her interviews, the actress hinted that she had to prepare herself emotionally and physically for scenes like that because they always took a toll on her. She was just grateful that it was all worth it in the end. While Unfaithful received mixed reviews, Diane was praised for her performance. She got nominations for the Academy Award for Best Actress, Oscar for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Leading Role. The movie arguably has one of Diane Lane's most remembered performances, but that too would come with its own tragedies. Typecast. Diane, not long after she became hot in the market because of Unfaithful, considered quitting show business. It took just a few features in moderately successful shows, and the actress was already venting out her frustrations on being typecast. According to her, she was gunning for roles that were not so sympathetic, and Diane unveiled detailed plans if the industry denied her of what she wanted. She announced that she would quit acting to focus on spending time with her family. Still, despite her many grievances about being typecast, the actress was seen in the 2010 Secretariat, a Disney movie that was about the relationship between a racehorse and his owner, Penny Chenery, who Diane portrayed. A more recent career success was in the 2011 HBO movie Cinema Verite, about the making of the first reality television show An American Family. Diane earned an Emmy, a Screen Actors Guild Satellite, and Golden Globe nominations for her portrayal of Pat Loud. Relationship with Jon Bon Jovi. As she did in her career, Diane Lane would replicate similar struggles and pains in her love life. Either she wanted men who didn't want her, or the men who wanted her had other selfish desires hidden behind the facade. The actress has only been married twice, but all through her career she has been linked to many famous stars. One of her most publicized romances was with rocker Jon Bon Jovi. They started dating sometime in 1985, and unfortunately their relationship never made it past 5 months. There are a lot of speculations about the reason for the split, but Diane, in 2008, granted an interview where she detailed the inside of her relationship with the celebrity guitarist and why she chose to walk away. According to her, the split was inevitable because she was only 20 when they started the romance, and Bon Jovi was always away on long trips and tours. The fact that he was away and traveling on his tours was probably how he lasted so long, Diane told The Advocate. Interestingly, Bon Jovi's former manager, Rick Bozette, had a different story to share, and it painted Diane Lane in a not very good light. In his memoir, Sex, Drugs, and Bon Jovi, Rick revealed that the real reason for the breakup was because Diane was caught messing around with the band's lead guitarist, Richie Sambora. Diane was young and wild and loved to party, Rick wrote. But she loved to party so much that John caught her partying with Richie Sambora. That wasn't a good day for John's relationship with Diane. Diane came up to defend herself, claiming that Rick was only desperate to sell his books, so he accused her of being a cheat. She said, "Some people will just try and sell a book, and I can't blame them. They can make up what they like. What was that line from the Cars song, 'Let the good times roll'? Let them say what they want, baby." Concluding the interview, Diane admitted that her memory of the relationship was a little bit foggy, as this happened many years ago. Diane fortunately was blessed with less dramatic romances, and this she shared with a few celebrities like Emilio Estevez, Timothy Hutton, and Christopher Adkins. Her first marriage was with French actor Christopher Lambert, best known for his portrayal of Tarzan in Greystoke. They met for the first time during the filming of 1986 Highlander, but the spark was ignited after they reunited for another project 2 years later. According to Diane, Lambert's presence in the movie was a distraction, and it was the reason why she couldn't give her best in the portrayal of her character. She told People magazine in a 1989 interview, "When you're doing a love scene with your lover, you think you never did it well enough because you know how good it really is between the two of you." The couple tied the knot in October 1988 in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and they welcomed their first daughter, Eleanor, 3 years later. Unfortunately, the birth of their daughter seemed to have put a strain on their relationship, and a year after she was born, they both were seen fighting for a divorce. After the nasty separation, Diane granted interviews where she revealed that she never loved her ex-husband. She said, "It wasn't love and it wasn't lust, but it was sure something. I was mostly celibate when I was married because he was gone all the time. I felt like the nun in the heat waiting for a guy on the stallion to take me off and make a woman of me. I just wanted to belong to somebody and have somebody belong to me in the old-fashioned way." A few months after her divorce, Diane announced her engagement with the Avengers Endgame star Josh Brolin. According to her, they met when she was pregnant with her daughter, but the connection did not start until 9 years later. The couple got married in August 2004, and with Josh, all of Diane's intimate desires were satisfied. But unfortunately, she had even bigger problems now. Shortly after their wedding, Diane called the police on her husband, claiming that he had violently hit her. These charges were quickly dropped in a desperate attempt to contain the reach of the news. However, an insider revealed that it was one big misunderstanding. While he admitted to the troubles in the home, he reported that it was not as serious as it was projected because Diane didn't want to press charges. Anyway, Diane knew after this that this was not her happily ever after, and so she filed for a divorce after a few years. Their divorce was finalized on December 2, 2013. Josh Brolin, 5 years after their divorce, had a few things to say about his ex-wife and the incident where she accused him of hitting her. He said, "I was more reactive. I was more, people need to know the truth. I've gotten to a place where all that matters is that I have control over my behavior, and at that time, it was a little more chaotic." Nobody can say if Diane and Josh were able to maintain a friendship after such a nasty separation, but we've not seen them together ever since. Diane Lane has spent over 5 decades in the entertainment industry, and people have always wondered the real truth as to why she is aging so gracefully. The actress, in a Zoom call, revealed her secret formula. According to Diane, the first hurdle she had to overcome on this journey was to understand that there is joy in every age. "I think the secret to happiness is having a Teflon soul. Whatever comes your way, you either let it slide or you cook with it," she said. She also confessed that she places strict restrictions on herself with her electronic devices while paying careful attention to her skin's exposure to the sun. Diane Lane today is a testament to the many good things that could come to one who refuses to give up. Her work across the industry continues to provide solid guidance to many coming after her. Diane Lane, now 59 years old, is not accepting as much work as she used to. All the actress is focused on right now is nurturing the relationship with her daughter and building several charity projects on world hunger. Diane currently lives in Los Angeles, and last we checked, she had an estimated net worth of $40 million. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos of beautiful actresses from the yesteryears on the end screen below. As always, thanks for watching.